Okay. Excited to finally have this press conference. And, the last one, I think, last time I said that was wrong, but I believe this is my last speaking engagement until we go tee it up. So just excited about, this time getting here. As I mentioned through the talking season, people ask me that all summer, and we're really not ready to go until right now. And tomorrow we do a little cleanup and make sure we put the finishing touches on things and run through and try to execute and be very clean, with what we're going to do tomorrow, and then we'll be ready to play. I guess the only downside is we have to wait a long day Saturday to go tee it up, but it is what it is. We have to be ready to play at any given time, and so I feel like it's been a good week of practice. It's been nice to be challenged with this weather because we haven't had this type of extreme heat, and it was really good. We had a complete full Tuesday and full pads, and that'll be the norm. And it was extremely hot and challenging for them, and it was good, I think, in a lot of ways to mentally challenge them both Tuesday and Wednesday. And today was our light day and not bad weather. So, but it's been a good week. I feel like we're prepared and excited about going and playing.
The FCC put out the injury report policy today. How do you feel about what the final version of that ended up?
Tony and I were just talking about it. I feel like I have a pretty good idea of what it's going to look like, and I'm comfortable with it. I think you guys know from covering me from all these years, I mean, it's not hard to read through what I've said, all along, I don't think. Now it's just being specific on questionable, probable, out, and all those things. But I've been pretty forthcoming with that over the years. I feel like everybody knows at some point anyway, it's going to get the information, and I have no problem with it. I'm good with it. I support it, and I think there'll be clarity. Certainly when we play other teams, it'll be good for me to know where they stand. So it'll be good.
I was going to say, from a coaching standpoint, how does that benefit? There's not those mysteries on who's playing, who's not.
Obviously from the other side. From my side, I know. You know what I mean? We know what it's going to look like. And, with us under no obligation in the past, you could play it closer to the vest because there are game time decisions. And, that still could happen or will happen. And then there's other opportunities where it's not going to happen. So I think for us, from a preparation standpoint, from our opponents, I think it'll be more clear.
Mark, I was saying yesterday, Chip Long, you guys have kind of crossed paths with him, or seeing opponent film and so forth. What are you expecting from this offense?
Well, if he stays true to form, it's like any of us. You are who you are, and you have wrinkles, you evolve, you try to grow, and you have new things. I think we all do that as coaches, and he's certainly a very good coach who's been around and has had very good success. But I think, the nuts and bolts, the pieces, we expect to be the main pieces. But, through camp and, with our defense, we kind of have to prepare for everything and be on point. Anybody that has a lot of time is going to have a new wrinkle or two. And so you always got to be kind of on your toes and ready for that.
Mark, you talked in the past when we've asked you about special teams and reminded us that it's more about just the kicking, it's the coverage as well, which you all have done fairly well through the years. How do you feel about the groups that are doing it now?
I feel very good. As I mentioned through camp several times, I just want to make sure we're consistent with the punting. I feel very good about extra points, field goals, kickoffs. Again, I just want to continue to be consistent in the punt game, and that's something that still we're working.
Are there pretty much veteran-laden groups or a lot of new faces in them,
If you're talking about the coverage, I was talking about the kicking aspect of it. The coverage units, we have a lot of good young athletes that we're trying to incorporate because they're good players and they need to help us, and it helps them grow. You put that responsibility on them, and they have to be accountable to their team, and they're good players that could run with some length. So you'll see some guys out there running around.
Mark, Mark, speaking of the punting, it sounded like from Coach Bowler's comment that maybe Aiden has the longer leg, but Wilson's been more consistent. How do you balance those two things?
Yeah, I think, it is something that we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Both guys will be ready. Yeah, we were doing backed up over here, and they didn't hit 175 yards. So it's like, that'd be a real dumb. What if if he could do that all the time, then he wasn't in there. I think he is work. He's getting better as he works through it and getting more consistent. He does have a big leg, but we can't hit short line drives in this league, or it'll be 7 points. So we just got to continue to be more consistent.
Brock told us yesterday he might not sit at all before the game. Can you get that sense of him, of how eager he is?
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. I think, I hope he does, and he just needs to go out there and be him and play. We have a lot of confidence in him. We have a lot of good players around him. As I mentioned, we don't need anybody to go out there and be a superhero. We have good players, play within themselves and do your job. And if he does that, and that's what he has done in the past, even with limited reps, he's been very successful at that, and that's what we expect him to do.
You mentioned in your opening statement about you wish the kickoff was at 7:45 at night. Is it tougher as a coach to kind of keep the team, especially for the first game of the season, focused for a full day?
Well, I think all of us will be, I've used it before, it's true. Like, I think the opener, there's certainly something different with the opener, because you have a good idea what your team is. Until you go play, though, you don't know exactly, and you just kind of want to get that first game going. And it's definitely a very late start, and I'm sure all of us will be a little bit antsy during the day, but you have to manage that and be ready to play whenever they tell us.
Back to Brock for a second. He said yesterday, I love football, and everybody's talking about his work ethic. He seems like they talk about he's here all the time. Did you guys know that about him
Oh, yeah.
before he came here?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Son of a coach, it's not hard, when you talk to him, when you visit with him right from the start, what type of player he is, what he's interested in, when he comes, on campus for a visit. I mean, he's not interested in anything except sitting up in there in the office and watching tape and kind of, evaluating us. Look at us. Look at the personnel that we have and the system that we have and what we're going to do and, all those things. I mean, that's what he's interested in, playing football. And, of course, if he gets any time in the off season, he's going to go fish or hunt.
Right.
So
Right.
That's about it.
Right.
Mark, all the season tickets that have been sold, this place is going to be rocking for a lot of these games, especially the night ones. How do you get across to the players that people have spent very much hard-earned money to come and watch them play, and maybe you can give them maybe good ROI, perhaps?
Well, I think, we always, I think our players do a very good job of that. They have great appreciation for our fan base. They feel the love and the passion from our fan base. They know it's important. We work hard to represent this state the right way and do things the best we can. We feed off that energy. We need it. We appreciate it. And I've already touched on it starting Monday about understanding, like, controlling your emotions going into game one. And I don't need 75 guys out there in that heat running around like maniacs 2 hours before the game, burning all their energy. We're going to be ready to be excited and ready to play. Then it's about execution. The emotion will go out the door after the first kick. And then it's about who operates, who executes, who makes plays, in critical moments. So that's what we're looking for.
What about the emotion with all those blue lights in there for a night game? The new stuff?
We'll see, man. I don't know. We went out there once and, we were in a scrimmage and it wasn't fully done. And so, I don't know. I'll tell you after the game.
A day like this, Mark, do you take time to watch other games at all, or do you just
Yeah, Thursday nights are our light night as coaches. We work a half day. It's a half day for us. We get home at 7 o'clock. That's a half day. So, Thursday's our half night. They get to go home and everybody gets to enjoy and see their families, have dinner, and relax. And so, yeah, it's a good night. It's a good night to watch ball when there's a good game on. Yeah, and relax a little
do you
bit.
get to watch any on Saturday, or do you get a night game?
Yeah, during the day on Saturday we do as well. Yeah.
Relax
I've explored with some other coaches and talked to Coach Wolf and, guys that have been other places recently and just seeing, if I'm missing something during the day. I don't know if there's a perfect recipe for how much or how little you do with guys, you know, with what time you play. When you play early, there's not many options, you know. When you play at night, you know, we kind of, I do ask around, you know, see if there's a better way to do things, you know.
You ever see something in one of those games right before you play yours and say, oh, we need to.
Oh yeah, and I talk to the players, you know, even on Monday, you know, with our football IQ, we talk about certain things and show plays that we don't want jumping up biting us, you know, and you know, a lot of times if it is a big game, they've probably already seen it or seen it on TV or a highlight or certain things, and you know, we use things to try to educate them and help learn, you know, because as I tell them, we're out here, we can't put them in every scenario that's going to happen. You know, at some point, your football IQ and playing ball has got to come in, you know, to consider. You just have to be able to function and play ball, and you have to understand every situation. You know, we work a lot of things in a lot of situations. We just did, you know, today on Thursday, a lot of specific, you know, things about getting down and how many seconds you could spike it and all those things, but you still have to go play.